Hello, Spartan fans, and welcome back to another edition of the Spartan Sideline Report here on NSUSpartans.com. I'm Ross Gordon, the play-by-play voice of the Spartans, joined by Assistant Sports Information Director Mike Bello. We'll also be joined today by head tennis coach Nate Feldman and sophomore Igor Braga. It was a good weekend for the Spartans last weekend as the Spartans had senior day here at the NSU Tennis Complex. The Spartans hosted Randolph-Macon. It was a good win for both teams as they swept Randolph-Macon on both sides.
Yeah, actually the men didn't even have a senior day because they don't even have seniors. Everyone's coming back next year. But yeah, it was a time to celebrate the two women's seniors. Marina Kiriuk and Rebecca Graff have been here for a few years. But yeah, it was a good win. You know, they were supposed to play Virginia Wesleyan on Sunday. Virginia Wesleyan ended up having to cancel. But again, you know, to get a good win, you know, heading into the MEAC tournament, especially for the men, you know, it's going to really kind of be key to build some momentum there and get their feet wet with a good win as they head to the tournament.
We'll focus on both teams right now as we look at the MEAC tournament coming up this weekend in Raleigh, North Carolina. Always a very intense place to play. South Carolina State has been the dominant team over the last couple of years. The Spartans took down South Carolina State, but FAMU has a good team this year on the men's side. The women's team has been steady, haven't been able to beat the teams that people would probably say are the conference front runners, but they have been solid as the season has gone along, and that's going to be huge in a situation where anything can happen, and especially in the tournament situation. If you win, you advance. And if you play solid and let everybody else make mistakes, you can get victories.
Yeah, you know, obviously it's tough for the women because they didn't make it to the tournament. But no matter what, I mean, he's still, you know, you're still building something for the future. You know, it's not easy to turn a program around right away. You're not going to go from last to first. You know, that just doesn't happen like that. But they're building momentum with the women's program for sure. You know, next year they got some players hopefully coming in that'll take them to the next level. And, you know, take them to that third place in the Southern Division, and that's really kind of what you're looking for.
We welcome in now the head coach of the tennis team, Nate Feldman. And Coach, let's first talk about the women's season, as it was a good way to finish the season off for the young ladies.
Yeah, I don't think the women often get enough credit, but this year was the first year we've had a winning record since 2008, so we're really happy for that. Obviously, we finished strong. We had a nice day against Randolph-Macon. Bruce Myers does a great job there, and we look forward to keep playing them in the future. I can guarantee that next year we're going to come back and we'll be in a position not only to qualify for the tournament, but to take a crack to win it. And that might sound crazy sitting here not qualifying for the tournament this year, but I firmly believe that with the recruiting we've done and the girls coming in next year, the type of character and hard work that they're showing, we're going to be in a pretty good spot next year.
And I imagine, you know, with some of the women's players, they kind of, you know, both teams support each other so much, but I bet you they kind of look at it and seeing what the men have been doing, and they're like, you know, we really want to take that next step. You know, obviously some of the new players coming in won't have seen that yet, but the players that are returning, they're like, you know, they see that what the men are doing, and they really want to. That's going to give them a lot of motivation going into next year too.
For sure, yeah. The women have been great. They've been supportive. They've come out to, you know, all our matches where they haven't played on the same day. They were, you know, instrumental in helping us beat South Carolina. A lot of them were up top and cheering pretty wildly, and as well at Old Dominion when we had a close loss to them. So I think that especially the new girls can see kind of the fruits of our labor and just the hard work that was put forth and the effort to improve. And I think they're excited looking forward, especially with the fact that we have so many new girls that are going to be coming in.
One last question about the women's team. There is no off season in tennis. You pretty much play all year round, even when it's cold. You're inside, and in the summertime you get that opportunity to really get your game in shape. What are some of the things that you want some of your young ladies to really hone in on that are coming back from this year's team coming into next year?
Mm-hmm. They need to play tournaments. That's the biggest thing, is that you just got to be competing. And they do have a lot of technical stuff that they need to work on. Some of them came in here as freshmen, and they might be a little bit behind some of the other girls who may have been a little bit more highly ranked. So they do need to hit the practice court and work on some technical issues. But the biggest thing for me is that you've got to compete. This summer, you know, you can play money tournaments, you can play professional tournaments competing as an amateur, you can play in league tennis. There's just so many things you can play in during the summer, and you've just got to be competing. That's the only way you're going to improve.
I mean, we'll turn now to the men's program. You know, you really brought out a whole slew of guys in, you know, Dmitry Zamantovich, you know, Robin Riefmuller. I mean, you got guys brought guys in and really turned it around, you know, finishing the tie for first in the Southern Division. You know, obviously we beat South Carolina State. That's been the big news throughout the year. So now you're heading into the tournament. I mean, where do you guys? I mean, do you feel like you're really in a good position to compete for that tournament title this year?
Yeah, I mean, anyone can win in tournament play. At this point, the regular season is just irrelevant. Obviously, this is the first time probably ever 3 teams in the Southern Division have tied for a first place share. We're happy to be in that position, but at the same time, it just means nothing. I've been on the receiving end and the taking end of winning the conference title in the championship match at North Carolina. We were number 1 in the country, and we went in and basically cakewalked to the finals, ended up losing to Georgia Tech, who was a 7 seed, 35 in the country. They beat 3 top 10 teams in a row, 4-3, 3 days in heat and humidity after playing the play-in match. Probably one of the most amazing feats I've ever seen. Brian Shelton, huge credit to him for that, who's now at Florida working with the men. But anything can happen. We were at Middle Tennessee State, and we won the league. We beat South Alabama in the final. We were seeded 4. We beat the 1 seed in the semis, and then we beat South Alabama, who was the host, in the final. We were down 3-0 in the team match, 5-2, a set down at number 2 singles, basically ready to go shake hands. And then about an hour and a half later, we were putting the trophy up. So, yeah, anything can happen, but I definitely think we have a great shot to win.
As we welcome in now Igor Braga. Igor, first of all, let's talk about this season, because it's been something to really be proud of for this team. Beyond the Harlem Shake video, you've been quality on the court as well.
Yeah. I mean, we just practice hard, and all these guys coming, Dima, Robin, everything get along very well, and practice hard, and we get the results.
Last year, you guys had you had Arsenio and Bandner were really all MEAC caliber players. So you had to replace them. Coach brought in 4 new guys. Talk about what it's like when you bring in that many new players into the team like that. From different countries, from Germany, from Sweden, from Eastern Europe. Talk about what it's like meshing all those new personalities together on a team, and how important it is to become successful like that.
Yeah, I mean, 5 of those guys that graduated, 4 were American, and now 4 of those guys that came is from different countries. So, I mean, each one of us is from different countries, so it's kind of easy for us to understand each other, and that's pretty much the team. Fine.
You talk a little bit about the difference between last year and this year's team. It seems like this year's team has more of a purpose-driven mentality. It seems like they come out and you know what you want, you know what you're getting, and you really fight hard to achieve that goal. Going into the tournament this weekend, how is the team thinking going into the tournament?
Yeah, I feel like everyone from this team wants this title, and everyone wants to play tennis. Everyone wants to practice hard, and that's pretty much what a team needs.
Coming from Brazil, I mean, how did you hear about the Norfolk State program, and how did you come into the campus here?
Well, actually, you have to make a video, and I came with a company, and they sent me a couple universities, 10 to choose from, and I chose the best one. That was this one.
You talk a little bit about being from Brazil, because there are athletes and there are people here from Norfolk State that are also from Brazil. I think Beatriz Ferreira also is from Brazil. How does that help you in your transition to the everyday life here on campus?
Well, last year we had Chris in the tennis team, so it helped me a lot. And this year there's only she is the only one left, and sometimes I talk to her in Portuguese to ask her something if I have doubt. I don't know, and it's helpful.
Describe what tennis is like down in Brazil. When people think of Brazil, they think of soccer, obviously.
Yeah.
It's a big sport. But talk about what tennis is like, how competitive it is down there in Brazil.
A couple of years ago, it wasn't that competitive, but last year we had 40 futures, 40 professional tournaments, not to mention the challengers, and we have the Brazil Open too, and now we have maybe 100 ranked players in Brazil. So
how popular? I mean, how is it the say second most popular sport, third most popular sport in Brazil? Where would you rank it?
Maybe the third, maybe, because they have volleyball too. Is volleyball and handball, and soccer is for sure is the first one.
Mike, you would say soccer. I think of beaches when I think of Brazil. As we bring back in Nate, we talk a little bit about what Igor has brought to this team for you the last 2 years, and it seems like he's been consistent. That's the one thing you can say about Igor. He's very consistent.
Mm-hmm. He earned the MEAC Rookie of the Year actually last year, not the Rookie of the Week. So actually one step higher, and that was a great honor for him coming in here as a freshman. Had a great season, played a ton of competitive matches last year, and this year I think the biggest thing is he's improved his fitness. He's come back in a lot better shape, and he's hitting the ball well, and I think he's just learning to trust his game every day a little bit more and kind of buy into the philosophy that we're helping him with, and that's going to be the biggest thing, just confidence for him.
After losing, you lost Ben and Arsenio last year, so Igor and Daniel Grau were kind of the building blocks coming into this year. What did you before the season started, even maybe before school started in the fall, what did you kind of tell those guys to get them prepared, knowing all the new guys you had coming in and the top level talent you had coming in as well?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not easy to lose your best two players, that's for sure. And Ben and AJ were two pretty darn good players. So, I mean, arguably two of the best guys who ever played here. With the returning guys, just said you gotta have faith in what we're doing here. We're building something, and it's going to take time, and just not to focus on the results, just focus on improving every day. Focus on improving your game, coming out every day with a good attitude to get better, and just to have a little bit of patience. And I think they've been able to buy into that, and now we obviously have a great team.
Coach, going into this weekend down in Raleigh, it's always a very, very heated place because everybody wants to win, and I want to find the best way for my team to win, whether it be this way or that way. You want to make sure that your team is in the best situation going down to Raleigh. What is going to be the focus, and how are you going to prepare your team going into the MEAC tournament this weekend down in Raleigh?
I just think we just take it one match at a time. You can't look too far ahead. We play Hampton first round, and we beat them, pretty easily in early season play. But again, anything can happen. They've got some great players, and I think you just take it one step at a time. And the guys are ready. They're hungry. Regardless what happens, I'm happy of the effort they put in, and we've had such a fun season. And most importantly, we've done things the right way. We've been great with sportsmanship. Everyone's competed well, competed hard. They've done things the right way, and that's the biggest thing to me. But one match at a time is the most important thing.
In reality, no matter what happens this weekend, you got to feel proud of where your program has where it's been to where it is now, and the fact that you're bringing everyone back for next year. Like I said, no matter what happens this year, you know that it's going to be a building block. If you win it, it's great. If you don't, guys understand, hey, we're all going to be here next year. We know what goal we have to shoot for. We know what we need to do to get better. Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, winning it would mean so much to the guys. It would mean a lot to me. But also, it's an award. It's you win a ring, you win a plaque, you win a certificate, regardless of what material item it is. At the end of the day, you've got to believe in what you're doing and the product that you're putting on the court. And like I said, we've done things the right way, and I think that's something that we can be really proud of. For the following year, FAMU and South Carolina State will lose 3 or 4 of their best players probably ever to play at both those universities. And we're going to return everyone and add another guy who I think will really help. So I can't be more excited for the following year as well.
Big weekend this weekend, Igor. How does it feel for you as a player to know that it's a very huge weekend coming up, and an opportunity for this team to set their mark in Norfolk State University history?
I'm excited for this weekend because we also have the best NSU tennis team in history, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm looking forward this weekend. I think we have pretty good chances for the championship.
Not a bad year to be a Brazilian.
Yeah.
World Cup, Olympics going down there. I might stay at your house. Thank you, Coach, for stopping by. Thank you, Igor, for coming by. The Spartans will travel to Raleigh, North Carolina on Friday to take on Hampton in the quarterfinal round of the 2013 MEAC Championship. The match begins at noon. We would like to thank the NSU Department of Video and Media Production for their help here today. And we would also like to thank Coach Feldman and Igor for stopping by. For Mike Bello, I'm Ross Gordon. Until next time, thank you for watching the NSU Spartan Sideline Report on NSUSpartans.com.